Welcome into a brand new series of Hutan Pantai, I hope I've said that right, on Farming Simulator 25 with me, the midlife Simster. So here we are, it's finally arrived. For those of you that are brand new, never listened to this before, I primarily have been making SnowRunner videos, did a little bit of Farming Simulator a few months back, just in the sort of build up to FS25 coming out, but then started focusing more on SnowRunner for a number of different reasons, of which I'm sure I'll talk about in this series a lot of the time. Bit of a background to what we've got going on here. So this is new farmer mode. If I have a look at the settings, I'm still very much getting used to this. New farmer, speed ×3. We're playing on an easy economic difficulty, I think, just to start with, to get our heads around things. Only play it 1 day a month, though I might change that up to 2 in time. For now, we got crop description on, and the ploughing required. Fieldstone, hate it, never going to play with that, so that's off. Line required, yes. Weeds, yes. And the disasters are on, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Nothing. Oh, automatic engine start, knock that off. Oh, and trailer fill limit. I don't like that you can just have 100% trailer fill limits, so I've turned that on. So depending on what the type of trailer that we're using, will max out at certain times. Normal fuel. No to all the AI worker refills. Knock all them off. In terms of general settings, I don't think there's anything particularly incredible on here. Using pound sterling for the currency, miles, Celsius, acres, and that's pretty much it. So in terms of the map, the only thing that I've done differently is that was this other thing as well, which is great. And for those of you that never played FS22. The FS25 allows you a lot more starting options, which is superb. I really, really like it. I've given myself maybe a couple of hours of playing the game just to get the basics sorted out, and then watched, I think I'm on episode 6 of Daggerwind's series on this map. So I've got a little bit of background, but not much else. What I have done is I've purchased, I started off with 250,000 rather than the original 1. Purchased this plot of land down here for 131. Only reason being, there isn't much farm to farm here. So bought that. I'd like to do what he does, although I'm just on the episode where he's just done it, is buy the woodland, but that's for much further down the line for now for us. The only other things then I've done differently is messed around with some of the starting equipment. So I've added the fertilizer option onto our seeder. That cost an extra 5,000. I got rid of the tuk-tuk, which was down there, sold that for like £2,000. Repaired a couple of £100 on the Aggo 8510, the white. Bought ourselves a John Deere. Now this is part of the Giants downloads that came out straight away. So this was about 70,000, a bit more than with the extra equipment here, and the I can't remember what these are called now. The pallet fork, sorry, and the quickie front loader, just so we can use a bit of a kit. Change the colour on our little truck, which is excellent. Realised as well you've got a flatbed option on that, so I'll be changing that back and forth so that we can get our productions up and running. Got ourselves a water carrier so that instantly we can get these mushrooms underway by here, and down there we got the rice saplings in that greenhouse down there, so they're full of water, they're underway. What else I do? I need to talk about this. This is the honey spot, because although we've got the bees down here, which is great, there's nowhere for them for the honey to actually be created. So just went into the settings and set myself an area. Where is it? On here, where do you do it by constructions? You go into animals, across to bees, and there it is. There it is. Sorry, the beehive honey pallet location. So just drop that down a couple of £100. Other than that, everything else is, I think, as it was. So playing it, like I say, playing it times 3, we'll see how that works out for us. We've only got £6,000 left. Oh, that's the other thing. I did put some fertilizer and seed in our seeder there. What I'd like to do is, if you have a look at the map, we need to put, I'm probably going to go, we've obviously got a wheat field here. I'm going to keep that as a wheat field, I think. That's certainly for the first season. Probably just to get some crops in the ground, I'm probably going to go with an oat in one, if not both of those. Maybe a canola, because we might be able to do that. It all depends on the time. Because we can plant canola now, but then it's going to be next July before that comes good. Whereas the oat, we can wait till sort of March, April time to plant it, and then still be harvesting that come the July, and by which point we may be in a financially better position if I can do some contracts and get some extra equipment that we're going to need. So we're very short at the moment. Other than that, it's basically as you'd expect. Are the lights on there? Yeah. Turn those off. Okay, so let's get farming. As I said, I've played maybe, I don't know, maybe 3 hours total of this game so far. Just getting used to the controls, maybe an hour and a half on each of the maps just to get my head around it. First impressions, the first hour or so, I struggled with it. I was kind of didn't really understand what was going on. This blew my mind. But once you get your head around it, this is a game changer. It is superb and I love it. Just so it's the GPS option. So we hook up the line there, turn on the harvester, lower the forks, and it just lines us up perfectly, and off we go. And it will follow that line. It sounds so simple, but for someone like me, I was never very good at following the lines, and I'd always end up moving as I played it. So there we are, hook it up to that next line, off we go. As I went around the field, oh, I must have moved then. Oh no, I'm caught up on something, am I? What's going on here? What are we caught up on? How fascinating. Little ridge. There we must be catching. Yeah, previously on FS22, what I would generally find is that I would really struggle to keep an accurate line, and it meant then I'm just wasting my own time by having to go back over things, or I then just redoing too much, and that I just wouldn't be an efficient way of doing it. And you'd watch people like Dago and Mr. CDP and you know, Farmer Cop, whoever, and they'd be amazing at just like, I don't know what you class it as, but yeah, like just kind of, they know the perfect way to harvest a field. They wouldn't really waste any of their time and effort, whereas I just seem to spend most of my time getting it wrong, getting the lines wrong, going off an angle. So this is just, for someone like me, amazing. And I'm not very good at this game, although I've got an embarrassing amount of hours in this game in FS22, because I did become quite obsessed with it, and I've talked about it in my previous maps and recordings. I never really did much more than like a year and a half or so, sort of like, I think max 50 hours of any one map. What I had a terrible habit of doing was I would start off on a map, and even if I really, why am I not quite lined up there? I don't want to be on you. I want to be on your other one. That's interesting. Ah, there we go. Let's go. Yeah, I'd find I just jump from map to map. Something for some reason something didn't go perfectly, and I'd restart and go from there. And I'd never really commit to anything, so I'm super keen to try this time and really make a big effort on this. Even in just the series, because there's not really anything in terms. I understand it so much better now than I did, I guess, with FS22. I hadn't played any of the farming sims beforehand, so I was brand new to it all then. And whoops, where we go? Where are we going? Controls on this right. There we go. The steering's a bit sensitive. I do struggle with the, as you can see, the steering. Yeah, I hadn't played any of the other previous farming simulators, so I was very new to it all. So I guess initially a lot of it would have come down to the fact that I was just learning how to play the game. I bought it though when it was essentially brand new, so I very quickly learned then that the mod hub was coming out, and I was kind of going back and forth finding different things, restarting maps then, because I'd discovered better equipment via the mod hub, or the people I was following were using certain equipment that I then wanted to use. I play on PlayStation, so big salute, Mr. CDP, that world. I'd love to play on computer, on a PC, but I haven't got that set up. I run a Mac, or a mini Mac too, for all my recording and editing and things like that. But yeah, in terms of gaming, everything is PlayStation for me. It's just what works for me, really. And so yeah, so here we are. So I'm really keen to try and see this one through, do a lot of hours, a good few years on this map, see where we can go with it. Play very similar style to Daggerwin, who is amazing, and I guess probably my first inspiration into this world of YouTube content creating. See, now I'm not concentrating there, am I? Vintage midlife Simster did exactly what I said I'm not very good at. So let's just get back here and see if we can't restart that line and follow it this time, rather than heading off on our own little world. Yeah, kind of got into Daggerwin, then found Mr. CDP. Between those two, Farmer Cop as the third. They were the three people I primarily listened to and took my inspiration from in when playing the game. And then I stumbled across SnowRunner. I can't remember how. I'm guessing because of Mr. CDP, because he started. Oh dear, wake up me. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Drop the harvester. Come on now. Focus. So, you'll see I'm not very good at this game, and I make little mistakes like that all the time. I'm impatient and stupid. Yeah, and I started playing SnowRunner, and that then sort of took over my life, and that's what the channel became about, because I was balancing SnowRunner and Farming Simulator 22 content. Sorry, I just kicked the mic. But what I quickly found for my very, very small channel, and I love my little small channel, my very select 22 at the moment subscribers, the content that was actually getting a reaction and seemingly giving me subscribers was SnowRunner, not Farming Simulator stuff. So I kind of stuck with that, and then it just came down to being very limited on time, having to, I just had to make a choice really as to what content I was going to put out there. Was it going to be SnowRunner or Farming Simulator? Now the reason I've got a little bit more time on my hands now, and if you are someone who's listened to any of my SnowRunner recordings, you'll know personal circumstances. I had spinal surgery. We're probably, I don't know, maybe 8 weeks I suppose now or so after the surgery at this point. So I'm off work at the moment, will be for a little while, yeah. just recovering from that. There was a slip disc, quite a bit of nerve damage as well. And I've had two of my vertebrae fused in my back. On top of that, I've also, rather typically, managed to give myself an injury to my knee, believe it or not, where we think, between the physio and the doctors, we think I've probably torn my ACL or done some decent damage to the cartilage. And that was simply through not learning to walk again, but getting used to walking again following the spinal surgery. So the brain's a bit poor. So I'm off my feet for, not off my feet entirely, but you know, I mean, I'm not very active at the moment, off work. So I've got a little bit of time on my hands, I suppose, these days. If you aren't from my SnowRunner series, a little bit about me. Obviously I'm middle-aged, hence the midlife Simster. The channel started off, the idea was behind it to embrace my gaming incompetence. As you'll see, I make a number of mistakes and I make them frequently. It sort of felt wrong quite quickly after starting making a thing about being incompetent. I don't know why. I haven't shied away from it because I've obviously kept the tag on the name, and I do, you know, SnowRunner. I mean, this week alone, the uploads I put out this week highlight my absolute incompetence at gaming at times. But yeah, I'd started off and it would, like, the videos I'd kind of introduce it as, you know, thanks for joining me as I continue my incompetence. I was playing the game, and it just, I don't know, it just felt quite quickly, it felt just wrong harping on that I was utterly incompetent at something. So changed that up, and here we are, just still embracing the incompetence, but in a very different way. So in terms of this game, I'm intrigued as to how obsessed I'm going to get with it. I got really obsessed with FS22 when it first came out, and I have put some serious hours, but my attention span is terrible, and if it doesn't go perfectly, I have got a terrible habit of wanting to do like a start over redo sort of situation, and I've got to really resist the urge this time of doing that with this. I think with this series, I'm just gonna play it out. I really just want to play it out, see how it goes, learn the hard way. It's genuinely quite surprising how little I understand the mechanics of this game, considering the amount of time I put into FS22. I will get the order that I'm meant to do stuff wrong. So, for example, the whole when do you fertilize roll, I don't even understand still some of the differences between what the equipment does. And I'll point that out as we go through. And if I do get any sort of engagement from you guys, please help me understand it, because I've watched videos to understand it, and it's been explained to me, and I still don't really actually understand it. So it took me a long time to realise as well. I still, oh dear Lord, again, it took me a long time watching other people play, watch how they harvest fields and the kind of reasons they do things they do. Daggerwin does I try and copy his in a way where it's kind of every other row, but as you can see, I don't, it's not hard and fast that I do that. And I also am quite incompetent because I keep missing lines, or forget to set the GPS, or forgetting to drop the harvest ahead and things like that. So not perfect. This, as I said in the description of the game, in the video, the description, this isn't a how-to by any means. This is almost a how not to, what we argue more. this is just about trying to appeal to like-minded people like myself who aren't necessarily amazing at computer games. And if you can take something from this and you learn a little bit just by watching me, because that's how I learn how to play the game. I watch people like Dagoin, like Mr. CDP, like Farmer Cop, and a whole host of others that I've dipped in and out of in terms of the YouTube content. That's how I learn to play. So if I can find and help other people like myself who aren't natural at gaming, you know, that time is leaving us behind because of our age. However, we grew up in the hacienda days of computer games. You know, I came up, you know, with Commodore 64 was my very first computer gaming system as a young lad. Moved on then, Mega Drive, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, I had a Sega Saturn, PlayStations, Xboxes. So, you know, I've gone through the range, and I ended up... It's weird because I was very much an Xbox guy for a very, very long time, and adamant that I would never cross over to the dark side of the PlayStation, and yet I can't really remember what happened and why it happened, but I at some point around, it must have been PlayStation 4, I'm guessing, I kind of made the jump across. Right, okay, so we have 90% of our tank full, so let's get our little lizard truck on the go. I love this orange, by the way. This is, I find myself going back to this colour all the time when I'm doing trucks and the cars and things. Oop, too fast. So, if I remember rightly from our first playthrough, this is going to take a bit of getting used to, isn't it? Because it's so different. We're running rice, and I think... Where are we? A little bit further. Here we go. So the moment, slight dip, next month will be the best time to sell it. Only by a couple hundred quid, but a couple hundred quid per 1,000 litres is worth it. So we can quite happily put this... Whoop, there we go. Oh no. In the harvester, my friend. We'll happily put that into... That's what I wanted to do. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. Let's have a look. If I go into the game settings, go into general settings. Reset the vehicle camera. Remembers the camera position once you exit it. Well, I want it to do that, so why isn't it doing it? Because I surely didn't have it that angle before. So strange. So now what we do have a lot... let me just knock that off a second. And just check something. So rice we can harvest this month and next month. However, our wheat we have to harvest this month. And we have to basically do that today. So what I might now do is... Let's go to a little test, is it? I haven't done much of this so far. So we just drive to the edge of the field like that. Knock it onto that. Knock it onto an AI worker. AI wants 3 headlands. Wow, okay. Work the headlands on. Start with the headlands, yes. Okay, that. I mean, workers are going to take up money, but we do have a little bit to get on with. Cool. Alright. Let's see how it works out. Okay, so I think we shall... I mean, there's not much to choose between these two tractors, to be perfectly honest with you. But I mean, actually, yeah, there's me thinking about the trailer. We haven't got a trailer, have we? This is a harvest job, not a trailer job. So, okie dokie. Let's take our Massey down to our new field and get a harvest. The rest of the fields we can do the ploughing of and sort of field preparation in the coming months. I mean, don't need to. There's not really much to rush with there. Tell you what, the other thing we want to check actually is, I can't remember, when do we, yeah, planting for wheat is next month, so that's fine. So we just got to get on with it, get down there and get some harvesting done. Now, what I will do in future episodes going forward, I'll do a lot of kind of, you know, fast editing and the speed edits and things like that. I wouldn't expect, you know, I'm not gonna be able to, there's not much to talk about when you get a couple of episodes into anything really. The content is naturally not going to be as interesting. Well, not even be arguably not even interesting in the first place, but you know what I mean. Like I'm gonna not try and talk my way through, make you watch me just harvest field after field. Let's drop that for there. But I think just for this first episode, I'm just gonna keep wittering on, just because there's plenty to sort of harp on about really in terms of the game, the new mechanics that I like, and just a little bit about myself because this a new series to the channel. So, alright, let's have a look here. Let's unfold this. Let's get it ready. Should just be steering assist. We'll do this one ourselves. It all depends really on how much space I'm gonna I'm gonna try, because I feel that we got quite a bit of space around this field, and the AI generally needs more than we do. We will enable a straw swath, although it's going to give us a lot of bales, that is, on this land. Lordy, but do we waste it? And, which reminds me, this is on sale, 71% off, 45 hours. I really want to buy that, because that then means we can go and collect 125 centimeter bales. So if we were to, side note, let's have a look here. Where are we? Baling into here. Oh, we can't, can we? Because they're only 120 centimeter bales. They're not. Yeah, it's a round baler collector. Ah, man. And that takes us up there. 60 grand's worth. Ah, lordy lord, what do we do? So I think, gosh, there's just not that much money in it. So I'm going to do something I don't normally do, but normally if I had a decent baler in the size, I like the baling element of the game, I really like that, and collecting it all, but there's no point. This field's massive, that baler is tiny, we haven't got the money, it doesn't generate enough money to justify it this year, so we are going to spray it. Now, if I'm right, we get, because I do this so rarely, my understanding is we'll actually get a degree. Why is that not given us? Where's my... Aha. Yeah, that'll give us like a fertilizer state. I think. Or certainly it'll increase our yield percentage by a small amount. So I hope it does anyway. It can't be a fertilizer state, can it? It can't be a whole fertilizer state. Don't know. We'll soon find out. We shall learn together. So yeah, so what was I saying then? I don't even know what I was talking about now myself. I like that you can lift this and turn it on, or just keep it low and then knock it off. This slightly new mechanic. And as well, I think, if I remember rightly from what I was reading before, Giants have done a lot of work around the sort of moving parts. Like, look how much is going on here. Look at all that. I'm not sure that level of detail existed in FS22. Where's she going? Am I even on track? Can't be, can I? How did I come off track then? I must have nudged that. Ah, man. Right, come on. Let's try again. Ah, that's why. Because... Right, now we're on track. And we're tracking correctly. Lordy Lord. How many times? But yeah, the attention to detail seems to be far greater. The detail in the field as to what's left over, much better. Like I said, the GPS effect on this is brilliant. I'm really impressed by this so far. So initially I was like, is there really going to be enough of this difference? Because like, I think I played maybe 2 hours of FS17 or whatever it was, which then I was like, oh, I'm going to get really quickly addicted to this game, really enjoy it. And I think FS22 had just come out, so it was like full price. And I was like, do I buy the 17 on, you know, mega discounted, or do I just pay full price and get 22? And I was like, no, pay full price, get 22. And very quickly I could feel that there was like a big difference between the two games. And that was the sort of vibe I was getting from most of the kind of content creators I started following and watching. However, initially my first sort of hour of playing this, I was a bit unsure. I was like, is there really actually that much difference? And I think now, having played a couple of hours and certainly watching Daggerwind's series, I think there's more than enough to suggest that there's plenty different, and lots of upgrades, and it's definitely worthwhile getting this version rather than sticking with FS22. Right, one more run down the bottom there. Interesting little setup there. I want to be on this line, please. Oh, we're at 42%. What I didn't check was the state of this field. Oh, it is fertilized, excellent. Doesn't even look like it's got much weeds either. Doesn't need ploughing, which is excellent. Will need lime. Fine. Those need a lime. So we're going to need, I suppose, this is the downside of playing the brand new version, is there's, in terms of equipment, there's so little available. What I did with FS22, because I didn't understand, I kept downloading stuff. PlayStation, you're obviously very limited in how much space you have. So I'm going to try and be a bit more selective about what I choose to download, and I'm certainly going to try and manage that a lot more than I did with FS22. See, maybe still two headlands would have been better, but hey ho, never know. See, I'm going to try and be a bit more cautious and selective on what I'm downloading. The one thing I really wanted, and I really wanted to see this, and it hasn't happened, unfortunately. And I'm surprised I don't see more people complaining about it, but I guess because the majority of people I follow, other than Mr. CLP, and I haven't heard him complain about it, or certainly if he has, then it hasn't been in the video that I've watched. I find it really difficult to stay on top of what you've downloaded, because when you download some of the new maps and stuff when they come out and the modders create something, then they may well have stuff that has to be downloaded with that map that's separate to it, that forces you to download, you know, vehicle packs or sort of building packs or whatever it might be. Now, because of that, if you then are struggling for space and you think, actually, I'm not a massive fan of the map, play for a little while, think, nah, this isn't for me, or for whatever reason, you know, you play it and you want to move on from it, so you can delete the map, get some of that storage space back, because you've obviously got a limited amount of storage space. You can never figure out then what other mods came with that map so that you could go back and download and delete them as well. So then, because of that, you end up with loads of mods that I'm just not using, but are filling up and taking up loads of space within the game. And I found that really frustrating. Really frustrating. I'm really sad to see that there isn't a filter on the mod hub at the moment, at least, that says, oh, I'm going to sacrifice whatever, even if we use up 100%, I'm going to get out of here, so that we can bring the truck down. Although we've got a bit of an issue because I've got a full tank here and the truck is full of rice, and that's probably going 52%. Okay. Yeah, so I was a bit, why is that? It's all zoom, it's still staying zoomed in, isn't it? Thought it should have stayed. Let's do a little test. I wonder if I've got to save it, and when I come back out and back in, that will take effect. Don't know. I think what I'll do is we'll get all the rice out of here now. I'll then go and drop the rice off over the road. Oops, over the road in our silo. Oh, come on. I'll take this one down there, start her off down there, again on a worker. When she's finished that and has either got a full tank or just finishes and still got a bit of space, we can just drive her over and empty her directly into the silo, meaning then we've freed up the lorry to deal with the wheat harvest, to go be bringing that back and forth to the silo as well. So that's the rough plan here. What are we looking at the moment? About 40 minutes. I think, generally speaking, episodes similar to SnowRunner, anywhere between 40 minutes to an hour, there or thereabouts. This might be a good time. Should we start it the other way? Yeah, start it this way. Whoa, sorry, this is going to be awful to watch that, because it's just going to be so jiggly. Right, okay, that. Set the worker off. Let them make sure they get lined up and actually get underway. Superb. Right, so let's take off the truck without driving it off the edge of the cliff here. Take this back up through the farm. Go and drop this off. The one thing I don't like are these little, what look like snowflakes dropping, and I don't know what they are, because it's perfect sun, not hardly a cloud in the sky, really lovely weather. No, middle of summer, so it shouldn't be snowing. I don't know what those are. I don't know what's going on there, and I don't know why it's annoying me so much, but it really is. Right, let's drop the rice off in here for now, because that will be September. We'll take that. Get some dollar bills. Nip this beast down the road, down to the harvester, down the Massey, collect our wheat out of there. Preparation. Now that, the wheat, I'll have a look now as to when, but normally on the seasonal growth, it'll be a few months before that's anywhere near ready to be sold because of the pricing. Let's see. place. Oh, I don't like that. I know it is going in there, and I know it's a small thing, but it just annoys me when it does that. It looked awful. Ah, I've gone the wrong way now. Come on, wake up. There we go. That'll do. Now, because of the time on this episode, I'd like to try. Well, I mean, we could just do what Dagwin does really. I think the first, probably not a bad idea, just to get some content. We could essentially just kind of finish episodes as and when, and just go back. Now, I'm a very, very small channel. I don't really get comments, so if anyone does very, very kindly take the time to give me a comment, I genuinely would absolutely love it. However, I won't be able to respond to them until I've put a couple of the series out, so it might be on episode 3, for example, and I'm uploading everything, and you give me a comment on episode 1, and I'll live it as to why. That is so annoying. You might suggest something or say something and think, well, episode 2, episode 3, he's still doing the same thing. Why is he ignoring the comment? It's because I've already filmed and played the game. It's just going to be a live continuation, so I'm just going to play this game for a good few hours today, tomorrow, get the episodes in the bank, and then kind of stagger them out over the next sort of week or so. But I think that's a nice kind of starting plan, and then we can start kind of coming up with an ideas as to what we're going to do with the farm, what's going to come next. I've got a rough idea, and I generally will follow a similar style, I think, Daggerwind's playthrough, just whilst I'm learning the game initially. Seems to make a bit of sense to me, but I think yeah, nice. I'm really excited. I'm really enjoyed the game. Really can't wait to see where this goes. How many hours I'm going to end up sort of ploughing into this game, how much is going to track, hopefully not too much from my SnowRunner series, because I was making some really good progress on that, and some comical progress as well on like I say, on the last episode. But yeah, so listen, look, if you have enjoyed this, if this is, hang on, before we go to the ending, that feature, that overtake feature is brilliant, isn't it? For those of you who are listening and have played FS22, the fact that cars just pile up behind you and you'll have them all beeping and it'd do your head in, and you'd have like a tractor moving at like 6 miles an hour with a trailer full of produce. You just think, just overtake me, and obviously they can't. That overtaking feature is superb. So yeah, bravo. Bravo to the designers on FS25, because that is wicked. I love it. But listen, if you have enjoyed this, please do give me a like and a follow. It really does mean the world to me, especially if we get a comment as well, and we can just start to engage. The whole point of this is to have and find like-minded people in a community to talk about the game, and what we like, what we don't like, and things like that. And just make a bit of sense of it for those of us that aren't particularly naturally gifted gamers. So if you would like to say anything in terms of what would you do differently, anything you'd like to see me do, explain, talk about, things like that, then happy days. If for any reason you do want to share this video, please do be my guest. And listen, until next time, be happy, stay safe, and we'll speak again soon. Take care.